All right, I'm going to do the first three problems from the factoring out the greatest common factor worksheet. And so I'm looking at this first problem here, and I see that I'm looking at both of the terms. This is a term, and this is a term. They're separated by addition right there. And those terms, their common factor is 2. I'm going to say 2 because I see a 2 here, and there is a 2 in 4. In other words, 2 is a factor of 4. And so I'm going to take the 2 out of those two terms. I'm going to create a grouping symbol because I'm taking the 2 out. In other words, I'm recreating a multiplication problem here. And what I'm saying is 2 times, I'm going to say x plus 2. And I'll tell you why I use x plus 2 in just a minute. 2 times x plus 2, or 2 times the quantity of x plus 2, equals 2x plus 4. I use x plus 2 because I know I'm going to have to use the distributive property here. And 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 2 is 4. Let's try number 2. I'm looking at all three terms. Let's underline our three terms. Here's 1, here's 2, and here's 3. 27, 9, and 18 all have 9 in common. So I'm going to take a 9 out. I'm going to check and see if they have x's in common. Here's x to the third power, x to the second. This 18 here is a constant. It does not have an x, so all three of them do not have x in common. So I cannot take an x out. I can only take the 9 out. So now I'll create my grouping symbol. And if I take I created my grouping symbol. If I take 9 out of 27, x to the third, I'm going to have 3x to the third. If I take 9 out of x squared, 9 out of negative 9x squared, I have a negative x squared. And if I take 9 out of 18, I have a positive 2. And so once again, if I use the distributive property, I realize that I created the multiplication problem that will land me this answer that I started out with. And so that's what factoring is. You're recreating a multiplication problem, essentially. Let's look at number 3. In number 3, I'm looking at two terms, here and here. One is a 6, the other one is a 4. They have a common factor of 2. Now you can break those down and find out. So I'm going to say 6 and 4. 6 is 2 times 3 in prime factorization, and 4 is 2 times 2. And so they both have 2's, and so their GCF is 2. So I'm going to take a 2 out. Now, they both have y's. This one has 6 y's, y to the 6th. This one has 5 y's, y to the 5th. And so, if I have 6 y's here and 5 y's here, then their common factor is 5 y's. So their common factor is y to the 5th. They don't both have z's, and so that z stays there. If I take 2 out of 6, I get 3. If I take 5 y's out of 6 y's, I just have y. Bring down your plus sign. If I take 2 out of 4, I have 2. If I take 5 y's out of 5 y's, I have 1, so I don't write anything. But I also have that z there still. And there it is in its factored form. So we did those 3 problems, and then I want you to complete the rest of the problems that are on that practice sheet.